On October 8th, 1992, the release of the Mortal Kombat arcade game took the world by storm. The realistic graphics and extreme violence were unlike anything gamers had ever seen before. If you were a kid back then, you know how popular this game was. But, as with most things kids enjoy, it was only a matter of time before adults came along to try to ruin it. Countless parents and politicians were under the impression that video games were destroying the fabric of America and causing kids to be violent. Because as we all know, violence didn't exist until video games. It's just a common fact, folks. Nah, it's complete and utter bull. Politicians in particular did everything they could to get Mortal Kombat and other games like it banned. And how did Mortal Kombat respond to these detractors, you might ask?
Shut up, old man. I ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, the government's blatant attempt at censorship kind of fell flat on its face, but it did lead to the creation of the ESRB, a rating system designed to keep violent games out of the hands of impressionable youngsters. Effective in concept, but that was about it. If kids wanted to play these games, they'd figure out a way to make it happen. And when those kids became adults, they allowed their own kids to play these games. You know, in games that make Mortal Kombat's level of violence, look like Sesame Street by comparison, man. That is what I call progress right there, people. Anyway, with the popularity of the Mortal Kombat games, it was a no-brainer that a movie would be released. Even so, it still caught everybody off guard. When that trailer dropped, I tell you, me and every other kid in the country lost our collective shit, man. I was so excited to see this joint, and waiting until the release date was crazy torture, man, just plain torture. And I wasn't the only one. So to tide fans over in the meantime, New Line Cinema released a promotional tie-in film, a little appetizer before the main course, if you will. It was called Mortal Kombat: The Journey Begins, an animated film that introduced us to the world of Mortal Kombat, as well as the main characters, by combining traditional 2D animation with the best, most realistic CGI available on the Atari 2600. Now, when I say this is an animated film, I mean that in the loosest sense possible. I know. Art is subjective, That's that. I'm fine with that. You like what you like, but at the end of the day, it's still gonna be no matter how much you try to dress it up. And this movie right here is some certified grade Z bull. But we're not here to destroy this movie's visuals, because the artists already did that on their own, and they did a damn fine job of it too. We're here to see if this quote-unquote film is worthy of the MK name and entertaining enough to satisfy the public until the release of the official motion picture. I'm gonna tell you right now, it was not. Shocking, I know, but let's look at it anyway. We start off on Shang Tsung's party boat, sailing on a sea made completely out of blue fabric, where we're introduced to our main characters. Liu Kang, rocking a Ron Wood mullet, Johnny Cage with the UV blockers at night, and Sonya Blade in her classic yoga fit. Now, I'm not sure if that's standard military attire, but hey, what do I know? The three of them shoot the shit, demonstrating the bare minimum of personality when we find out that they are not alone. And here, we are introduced to our boy Sub-Zero, playing the role of brainless henchman, which isn't a far cry from his role in the live-action film. Over the years, Sub-Zero's allegiances have changed from iteration to iteration. Sometimes he wants to assassinate Shang Tsung, sometimes he works for him under contract, and on very rare occasions, he is a slave to his power, whatever that means. In any case, in this movie here, he's just a G.I. Joe villain. Now, Sonya is looking for Kano, I guess. She never mentions him by name, but I mean, who else can it be, really? So she demands to use the ship's radio, a ship that looks straight out of the 16th century. Why she would think there's a radio here, I have no clue. But in any case, she tries to big man her way past Sub-Zero and our boy gives her the cold shoulder, literally. All this ruckus gets the attention of Captain Shang Tsung, who is, without a doubt, the best character in this entire film. Dude is a certified boss and lets everybody know it at all times. As you can see, his appearance is more similar to his video game counterpart than his movie one, but that ain't really saying much. He still looks like an evil vizier from an Aladdin ripoff or something. He tells Sonya that she can't use the radio and that he don't give a flying fuck about her mission, just that she will be participating in this Mortal Kombat tournament, whether she likes it or not. And just to prove he means business, he hits Liu Kang and Johnny Cage with the old PSI brain shock. After asserting his dominance, Shang Tsung and Sub-Zero head into the captain's cabin while our three heroes get together to talk about him behind their backs. During the conversation, Liu Kang mentions hearing the story of the Mortal Kombat tournament from his village elders, but he thought they were just fairy tales. Nah, if that's the case, why is he even here? Why did he get on the boat in the first place? Where did he think he was going? This ain't no carnival cruise. Try to make some sense, Liu Kang, because you sounding real random and stupid right now, homie. Meanwhile, Shang Tsung and Sub-Zero come out of the captain's cabin to discuss their plans to kill the heroes. I guess they want their potential victims to overhear them. Makes it more exciting, I suppose. Here, we're introduced to Scorpion, who's also working for Shang Tsung. As in the original MK, he wants to murk Sub-Zero for slaughtering his family and clan, but Shang Tsung convinces him to help Sub-Zero with the ambush, promising that he'll have his chance to get some of that frozen blue chon-chon a little later on. Scorpion and Sub-Zero attack our heroes, and here's where we get our first fight scene. And it sets the stage for the type of action you can expect from these 2D sections. Slapstick, slow motion, and still frames aplenty. Everything you could ever want in an uninspired, low-budget shit show of a cash grab. But at least we get to see some iconic MK moves. It ain't much, but it's something. I mean, when you're dealing with cinema of this caliber, you gotta take whatever positives you can get, my friends. What feels like 1,000 years later, Raiden finally shows up and puts a stop to his foolishness. But in the weirdest flex ever, he taps Johnny Cage with some PK Thunder. In fact, he hits him so hard he nearly turns him from 2D to 3D. Raiden accuses Shang Tsung of ordering the ambush on our heroes, which apparently is against the rules of Mortal Kombat, but you can never tell by this film. Shang Tsung denies it naturally, even though he discussed his plan out in the open with Sub-Zero only minutes earlier. But in the end, it doesn't really matter. Shang Tsung knows that Raiden ain't gonna do nothing, no matter how many sacred rules he breaks, so he just gives this little half non-apology and goes on about his business like a boss. Now, Raiden gathers up the pieces of his shattered ego, then tells our hero about the tournament, and it's revealed that Johnny Cage is the only one who knows that he's actually participating in said tournament, ironically making him one of the smartest characters in this entire film, which is honestly sad. The discussion leads us to a flashback of when Shang Tsung first became MK champion by defeating some old dude named Temple Master or something, I don't know. Here, we're treated to what the film advertises as its crowning achievement, this revolutionary 3D animation. Now, I want y'all to look at this. I want y'all to take a real close look at these two combatants. Like action figures. No texture, arms and legs on ball joints, and frozen, goofy facial expressions. This is an offense to CG. But the biggest crime, man, the biggest crime of all is the combat itself. There is zero sense of weight or impact to anything. It's like their limbs are made of cardboard or something. And as a cherry on top, Shang finishes off Temple Master with the Photoshop dodge effect. Shameful, man, just shameful. And we ain't even done yet. Get ready. Just get ready. Because if you can believe it, it gets even worse later on. Our heroes arrive on Donkey Kong Island, and we get to see some of the other combatants. And it is a veritable who's who of fighting game jobbers. Man, we got everybody. We got Baraka, we got Discount Fake Long, we got Alex Wright, we got Marty Jannetty in the back, we got Baraka again, and hold up. Shang Tsung welcomes everyone to the island and issues a whole bunch of veiled threats. And at some point, Johnny Cage sees Goro, and despite the fact that this dude is a giant four-armed wrecking ball, the only person who manages to spot him is the guy whose eyes are covered.
This thing was 10 foot tall.
We get another look at the history between Scorpion and Sub-Zero, which, to this film's credit, is more informative than the live action film. Though Raiden, being a complete idiot that he is, mispronounces Lin Kuei.
Sub-Zero is from the clan of the Lin Kuei.
He also suggests that Lin Kuei are based in Outworld, which is wrong. I mean, you know, some of the members have roots in Outworld, but they operate in the Earth realm. I mean, come on, Raiden. You're supposed to be this wise, intelligent guy. There's no excuse for that, man. I'm gonna need you to do better. And here's our second CG fight scene. Scorpion versus Sub-Zero, fighting in matching onesies in the middle of nowhere. You gotta love how their hands are just like stuck in this fixed position. It's almost as if the artist didn't know how to animate fingers. Long story short, Sub-Zero turns Scorpion into Silver Surfer, shatters him into 1,000 pieces, and this god-awful fight scene mercifully comes to an end. Now we're back with our heroes as they take a romantic little stroll through Shang Tsung's garden. And for the past several minutes, our boy Raiden has been an exposition machine, just dropping bullet point after bullet point about Outworld's forces. Dude is basically a strategy guide. At some point, Goro shows up to floss his new cape, which I must say is mighty dapper. Raiden tells us about how he became the Prince of the Shokan, which leads us into another terrible fight scene. And this one is the worst by far. It's between Goro and his dark-skinned brother Durock. They're fighting to decide who gets to present their father with this giant jewel egg or something. These two big gumps move like they're wading through molasses, just slow as hell. It's like watching a Big Show versus Great Khali match, just stinking up the joint, man. Wall to wall, floor to ceiling funk, just nasty. Ultimately, Goro gets washed by Durock, but he ends up cheating to win the match. And that's how he became successor to the throne and the Eddie Guerrero of the Shokan. Congratulations, Goro. Proud of you, big homie. Yada, yada, yada. Bling, blang, blue. Let's move on. We return to the present, where our heroes continue to hype up Goro for a good 5 seconds before we are forced to sit through yet another CG fight. This time between Goro and the Great Kung Lao, who, for some reason, is wearing modern Kung Lao's fit. And just like modern Kung Lao, the Great Kung Lao was a beast when he started, only to job out at the 11th hour. Goro pulls a Hulk Hogan on him and refuses to put him over, and what happens next is nothing short of a squash match. I swear, man, the Great Kung Lao and his descendants, reincarnations or whatever, they just cannot catch a break. It's kind of sad, but kind of funny too. Afterwards, our heroes aren't sure they can win the tournament, so Raiden gives them a little pep talk. Clearly, this is the point where the animators completely gave up. Just look at this shot, man. The perspective is all over the place. Liu Kang looks like a toddler. Johnny Cage is sitting on air. Raiden is standing at an odd angle, and no one has a shadow. Even the background is jank. looking like somebody dropped an entire paint palette onto it. These animators did not give a shit. And if things couldn't get worse, Goro launches an attack on our heroes. And rather than do something about it, Raiden just dips out. He leaves. Now, this kind of pissed me off. Not from a character perspective, because I expect this kind of behavior from Raiden, but because the ensuing fight is the worst in this entire film. It's more terrible than all the CG fights combined. Hell, it might even be the worst fight I've ever seen, animated or otherwise. And if Raiden had just stuck around and done his job, wouldn't have had to suffer through it. We get more slow motion, constantly repeating animations, and blurry visuals, and to make things even more unbearable, the fight just keeps going on and on and on. It is legitimately exhausting. Eventually, Raiden comes back and puts a stop to it, as if he couldn't have done it earlier. I mean, where did he even go? Did he have to take a piss or something? Or did he have to ask the Elder God's permission to take a piss? Either way, it's bad form on his part. You are a terrible mentor, Raiden, and an even worse guide. You are fired. So Raiden pretends to be angry with Shang Tsung, but at this point Shang is just done humoring him and declares that Mortal Kombat will now begin. That's right. After putting up with over 30 minutes of pure garbage, we finally get to see our favorite characters square off against each other in a life or death struggle for the fate of the earth, man. Whew, I'm excited. Maybe I was wrong about this film. Maybe there's still time to turn it around. I guess we'll find out in a minute.
From now on, you will face formidable adversaries. Each opponent will have strange powers, incredible strength. Each has the experience from 100 battles. Some, like Shang Tsung, use powerful magic. But each of these opponents can be defeated. Look into your souls and you will find hidden powers. The knowledge and the skill to win Mortal Kombat is within you. Now you must find the will. Prepare yourselves for Mortal Kombat, the movie.
Oh, no.
That's it. I'm done. Video over. Clearly, this movie does not want me to have any kind of enjoyment whatsoever. So I thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe. Do all the things the algorithm loves. As for me, I'm gonna go decompress because I'm mighty pissed off right now. And if I don't do something about it, I might be committing some fatalities myself. So I will see y'all next time. Take care.